China has rejected a plan by the World Health Organization to further study the origins of the COVID-19 virus. Now, the WHO had proposed a second phase of the investigation begin this year. The first known cases of the virus emerged in the Chinese city of Wuhan. This was back in December of 2019. And since then, the U.S. and some other countries have accused Beijing of not being transparent enough. Freelance journalist Patrick Falk is on the story live from Beijing. And Patrick, it's Suhanna in Toronto. What is China's rationale for rejecting the WHO's plan?
Yeah, well, Suhanna, China says it's shocked at this proposal for the second phase investigation and has accused the WHO of arrogance and also said that it's disrespecting common sense for revisiting this so-called lab leak theory. It's not necessarily such a surprise that this is the sort of reaction that we're seeing because, as we know, China really has bristled at any suggestion that the virus might have escaped from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. But more specifically, Zheng Yixin, the Deputy Minister for the National Health Commission, said he was surprised because the proposal included the hypotheses that the virus might have escaped because of some sort of breach of lab protocol, which he says, look, just isn't possible because no staff or no postgraduate students working at the WIV were infected, and none of the research on bat coronaviruses led to a sort of higher level of infection among humans as well. So they say, China says, for that reason, this second phase of the investigation will not go ahead. But the problem is that all this relies on taking China for its word, and that is precisely why the WHO wants to get more information.
And just what sort of information is the WHO after, Patrick, that China seems so unwilling, you could say, to share?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. There has been this sort of lingering issue with the WHO calling for more raw data from the early days of the outbreak. But China says that it can't share that because of privacy concerns. But also there's this other issue, which is one of the key issues for calling for or pushing for further investigation into the lab leak theory, and that is that the WIV actually took offline some of its genetic sequences and sample databases in 2019. China says that is because it needed to ward off possible cyber attacks, and all this data is now being shared internally. But unfortunately, like it or not for China, that does not look good, and it demonstrates to a lot of people around the world that China is not being transparent about everything.
We'll talk again. Freelance journalist Patrick Falk in Beijing.